Hello, everybody. This is Reality Realness with three S's. I am Lindsay, and I am here with my co-host, Nick, and with Jeffrey, the first person out from Big Brother Cheesecake 5.
Shame.
Well, out.
Out. Yes, you might still get back in.
We will see.
I don't remember all the things I'm supposed to say about ding the bell, like, or subscribe, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't follow us already, then you can like our videos, subscribe, ring the bell, and stay tuned for everything that happens. Big Brother Cheesecake 5 All-Stars and all things that Chantel does as well, because that's a great channel. Yeah.
All right.
Well, Jeffrey, you are here with us. We've been watching all week. Explain what got you here right now.
I mean, going in as a winner, this is what happens, right? You got a target on your back going in. You try to work something out. You don't win those first couple of competitions, you're screwed.
Did you think there was any chance that it could have gone a different way, or like you could see the writings on the wall right from like kind of the start of the week?
I mean, when I didn't win the veto, I knew it was an uphill battle. Tried to make something happen. Tried to work with some different people, and nobody bought into it. Nobody wanted to make any deals. Nobody wanted to work with me. But I gave it all I got. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
So are you able to give us any hints as to who it was that you were trying to work with?
Well, right out the gate, you were set up in a chat with anybody else that was from your season. So season 1 is myself, Aitzen, Chad, and Charlene. So you're thrown into a chat, and I knew if I didn't win that first HOH that I was likely going up, because it's easy to say he was the first winner. He's won a bunch of comps. Throw him up on the block. No one's going to get mad. So I knew I should start to try and build a relationship with the season 1 people in case I needed them that first week. And it just didn't work out. They acted like they wanted to work with me, but they didn't. I tried to work with the winners. They didn't want to work with me either. So nobody really wanted to work with me before any competition even happened. So
I think it's kind of tough as well. As soon as like Curtis in his speeches says like, this is who I'm putting out, this is who I want out, and like makes it pretty clear. As soon as you say even a hint that maybe they do want to work with you, it could mean like, now I don't want to work with Curtis, and that's a risky place to be. So maybe they were just kind of be like, yeah, a little unsure as to whether they could say they would help you.
yeah.
That's tricky though. That's an uphill battle for sure. But I mean, you won already, so that's something under your belt.
Yeah, but I won the season and I was evicted first, so I still did something first.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, I was a bit surprised that Curtis was as like open about the fact that you were the target.
Mm-hmm.
He was a little bit more diplomatic in our season, so
I think it's because
wondered if anything happened there.
It's a really safe move for him to target me. Him coming out so hard against me, saying this is the target, this is who needs to go home. I mean, why would you go against that when, yeah, this guy won a season already. He's won 8 comps. Like, it makes sense. It's not as if Curtis was targeting somebody for personal reasons and then the house just followed. This sort of makes sense. So I give too much credit to Curtis's strategy.
I think, yeah, and it you don't know how much of it was solely him or other people in his ear too. But I was shocked when I heard in his speech. Normally it's just super diplomatic and peaceful, and it was just like so pointed and right at you. So I was like, oh, good luck. But you did well in the veto competition, if I recall.
Yeah, I just screwed up the last question.
Yeah, that happens many times to all of us. Yeah, Andrew was saying something like you were high the night before too. Like, is that like that gets you in the zone, or what was he going on about?
I mean, yeah, I smoke weed every day, but it doesn't affect my competition performance if you look at my stats. So
fair. So that's probably where
the know too, when Andrew's making things up, because that's like the persona he's given.
Yeah.
What part is true? So I was curious about that one.
It could just be what he thinks of someone, anyways, or how it would affect them. But like to you, it doesn't affect you at all. But I get that makes sense now that why you probably got the surfer guy voice, and me who never smokes weed and doesn't know how to. I've surfed once and I sucked at it. I somehow got a surfer voice, so that was pretty funny.
I'm surfing myself, so.
We're voice buddies that way. Um, so did you predict that the vote was going to go the way it did? Are you kind of shocked, or was it like, oh no, I knew my 3 votes, or oh, I thought it was going to be more? Like, what do you think about the results in the end?
Well,
Yeah, and I'm curious to know if you know what happened too with those votes, because Andrew seems to think that those weren't the initial, like, wasn't the initial plan. So
yeah, I have an idea. I mean, I know all of my season 1 folks didn't vote for me. I know that for a fact. They admitted it.
Okay.
And
wow.
it is what it is. You don't want to work with somebody, you don't want to work with somebody. I kind of knew I was screwed right out the gate during the HOH pick when Brazil chose Curtis over choosing Chantel. Because before that even was announced, I tried to get all the winners together and say, why don't we roll 4 strong here? So I got that ball rolling. But then when Brazil didn't choose Chantel, who was a previous winner, and gave it to somebody from her season, I was like, all right, Brazil's not in this. So right there, I sort of knew. And then when it came down to the vote, I mean, I was talking to everybody. I was pulling out everything I had. Like I was up all night.
I applaud that wholeheartedly. I do not like quitters. I don't like playing with them or watching them. So to hear that is very good because it's All Stars. Why would you say yes to it if you're not going to play
Exactly.
all through the night?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought maybe I had a chance. Maybe some people would want to go against the grain and keep me just to see how that would change things in the house. But unfortunately it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, and Dylan wasn't doing the same kind of play from the sounds of it.
No. He said something like he was in school and he didn't have time, but then as soon as the vote was read, he came in guns blazing against Ryan, and it was just like, this is who you kept? All right. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, as long did you still have a good week? Like you still had a good time, met new cool people?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, flattering that these people thought I was such a threat and that I had to be gone right away.
Yeah.
That's credit to my game. But, I mean, I still have a shot. Hopefully this week Chanel sends me somebody that I can beat in the first Redemple Temple competition. And then from there, I got 4 more.
Yeah. Do you have any, like, I have no idea. Do you have any hints as to what that competition might be, or did you get any info that way?
No idea. I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, I think he's keeping it tight-lipped, but
yeah.
He said the first,
because that just wouldn't be fair.
Yeah. I think the first ones are going to be all similar, and then it changes up after, because there's going to be a second Redemple Temple, I believe.
I missed what wouldn't be fair, though. Sorry.
Well, if it was like a luck kind of thing.
Oh.
Or true and false.
Yeah, I think he would try to keep it strategy.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll have more like you earned your way back in if you actually can use some of the skills, or hopefully it's knowledge about Houseguest still remaining or something, because then it shows you really want to stay too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Without revealing, this is a little thing I wanted to ask you. Without revealing too much, or you don't need to say anything specific because you're still technically in the game. But Lindsay and I have drafted teams, and we.
That Curtis is out to get.
We each have 8 people on our list that we want, and like one of us will win alongside this winner. I'll read the list out for you, but who do you think has the best chance of being the winner between Lindsay or I with our given teams?
Okay.
So Lindsay's team right now is Eitan, you, Curtis, Rhonda, Nicole, Dylan, Joanne, and Chad. And I have everyone else: Jonathan, Brazil, Chantel, Chanel, Jojo, Kat, Ryan, and Charlene.
I got to go with Nick.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to say why, but I mean, I'd love to hear why, or you can keep it tight-lipped, whatever you feel.
I think the lists speak for themselves.
Okay.
Lindsay, what were you thinking? I but come on.
First off, Nick kept taking a bunch of people that I was going to go for next.
Back and forth.
But it was back and forth, so I can't blame him completely. The other thing that everyone needs to remember is until season 4, I knew nothing about Big Brother. So I was just going off of gut and researching people based on whatever is public information and what Andrew said on the previous seasons. So
You still have good people. I'm looking at both lists. I'm like, yep, good, good. But that's because it's all stars and everyone is
Yeah,
ideally should
everyone's
have some
good.
sort of merit.
They're all great players. Like you all are on All Stars for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask is this whole Chad. I don't know Chad. I've never spoken to him. I don't know it. I only know it through Facebook posts or Andrew's videos. But Chad being a nice guy thing. What do you make of that as someone who's played with him twice now?
I don't know. I don't really play too much into that because it just looks like he's trying to get an angle, but you don't
Okay.
know what that angle is or what he's going to do with that because he can't win a competition, he can't form an alliance, he can't keep an alliance. So it's just, I don't know, it's just sort of irrelevant behavior to me. It doesn't affect my gameplay, and I don't think it'll affect a lot of other people too. He's just going to be one of those people that sort of floats to the middle or floats to one of the last couple pre-jury, and then he'll get booted.
Days are numbered, it sounds like. Well, we'll see.
And then on the Chad conversation, do you know anything about the Chad-Charlene relationship since you've played with both of them before?
They sort of like would go at it in season 1, but I thought it was just sort of all for show. And then I don't know if it was last year or earlier this year, but there was a video that Andrew sent of Chad and Charlene actually meeting in person for the first time at work. And I was like, okay, so like they're getting to know each other. They're going to be friends now. They were both pretty quiet this week. So it's hard to say where that will go.
I'm interested to see because there was like the whole debate whether they would even should be invited or will say yes about All Stars, and like now here we are. I think Andrew always wanted them on, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. I was going to say something else about it. Oh, this week, do you think that there was of the people that Brazil had to choose from for HOH, other than Chantel, you've said, do you think that there could have been other plays where you wouldn't have been the target?
So who were the other people? There was Jonathan, Chantel,
Dylan,
and Dylan. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, again, I was still an easy pick. You know, there isn't a lot of, reprisal coming to Curtis for getting me out, especially because nobody would even wanted to work with me. I couldn't really get any on my side. So he goes into the next week a winner. He got out somebody that the house wanted to get out, and then he can keep quiet for a little bit. It's hard to say how it would have gone down. But
Yep.
I didn't like that. That's how the first HOH was awarded, because now I'm out and I didn't even get to like lose fair and square that HOH competition. So not having a shot at it kind of sucks. But
I think a backdoor this week would have stung even more to that same
that's very
point because, like, if Dylan would have went like didn't get picked, didn't play in veto, or
yeah.
did he get picked for veto? I forget. Either way, and then just being put up as a replacement, that would really suck too.
And I mean,
Do you have any ideas of?
playing
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So
What were you going to
Do
say?
you have any
Jesse?
ideas of who you think Chanel might be going after, or like who do you think you might be dueling this week?
it's hard to say because I didn't really talk to her a lot. I don't really know Chanel. But I mean, hopefully she sends me somebody that I can beat, knock out of Redemple Temple. So Chanel, if you're listening.
I'm sure she will be. I think a strategy would also be to maybe send another big player because if you know that there's a big player in Redemple Temple, send another one so at least you've trimmed one out. But there's still so much that can happen, like between noms, veto pick, veto winner, the amethyst changing vote. Like there's a lot of stuff at play this season. It's actually it's really good.
Complex, and I really wish I could have hung around longer to see how it was going to play out.
Well, you still can,
still.
and I guess it's balls in your court in that way, but it still comes down to a lot of factors as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the one thing I was saying to a lot of people, I was like, you guys, it's a pandemic. Live dangerously. Keep me in the house.
Yeah. Don't you want to be part of an exciting season?
Yeah. How long I've been waiting for this? Now I'm at week 1.
Yeah.
Damn.
Did you find it
I'm
was
disappointed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you have any more questions, Nick?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, did you find it easier or harder to connect with people? Because the first couple of weeks of talking is all just, oh, I don't know, I'm just seeing who I vibe with, and like kind of faking know how much you know about the game. Like it's everything's on the table now about previous stats and how you might play the game. You said that people were kind of shutting you out or not really wanting to work with you, but did you find it was a different strategy going into season one versus All Stars with how you had to navigate the conversations?
Yeah, season one, I went in and I knew Tiffany. She played in season one. We worked together. So I knew somebody really well going in. Whereas going in this season, I only knew the people that I played with 3 years ago that I knew just via the Facebook chat, right?
Right.
So I feels a little more isolating going into All Stars, even though you sort of know these people just from their games and watching them play Big Brother. But it was definitely different to not have like that solid one person that you know that you can say anything to. Whereas when you go in like this season, you go in by yourself, you have to start over, and especially like being on the block week one, you're forced to talk to people. You can't sit back, you can't just like not contribute, right? You got to get out there. So I had to try and make those relationships, but like I said, nobody cared.
Yeah, they might look at it like, oh, he's just talking to me because he's on the block. But I mean, whether you were or weren't, you'd have to start talking at some point. So
And
yeah,
I would
it's
tell people
tough.
how if they kept me, that would benefit their game. The thing like different deals we could make, different situations that could play out. But nobody wanted to gamble on me, which was really disappointing.
Yeah. But I think, like Nick said, once you've been put as the target, it does make it a lot more difficult
Yeah,
to step out of line, right?
yeah.
I wish I knew who the votes were now because I just wanted like I want to know that, but I guess we'll find out eventually as the season goes on.
I'll message you after.
Okay, good. Do you have any final thoughts about your week, the game as a whole, how you see it going? Anything about anything?
Anything you want us to know?
I just well in the game, I hope there's a lot of strategizing. I hope that it's I hope it's fun. I hope people enjoy it. And I hope there's just good moves, good gameplay, and I hope nobody's salty. I'm not. I had fun. Sucks, and I hope I get back in. But
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We
Yes,
we
thank
look forward
you.
to seeing what happens at Redempble Temple. You might get back in, then we might have another exit interview. Who knows what can happen?
we shall
There's a
see.
lot left. Yeah. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Jeffrey.
All right, guys. Thank
Have a
you.
great night, Jeffrey.
Take care.
Hi.
Oh,
Well, there's potentially one down from my team.
true. And like that's huge that it's just right away, boom, winner, gone. Like, well, gone. I keep saying it that way, but like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
that's
so curious to see how Redempble Temple works because
mhm.
I don't know how these things go. And I'm surprised because Andrew has always spoken against that sort of thing. So,
About coming back in.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's helped him twice, but he still thinks that it's like not the right way to play the game.
Yeah. I don't know if he's done that any time in past seasons. I don't think he has. Oh, I didn't see that question from Phil. I don't know if
Oh,
we
how
can
do you see
answer.
questions?
I don't know. It came up on the screen, then it went away real quick. I
Oh,
think that's
sorry, Phil. Send it again.
well. Uh,
So I guess we need to now run through the week. Did you want, I don't know, did you take any notes on the week?
no, I still like I watched all the videos. And I remember what happened, just like with the announcing of the powers and the HOH comp and who she picked and everything.
Okay, so apparently I found that there were 2 days that weren't interesting. So I took notes on every day except for 2 and I think 8.
Okay.
Um, because I'm a super nerd.
Uh-huh.
So do you want me just to run through day by day and then you can work off
Please.
of your memory?
Yeah, yeah, for
Cool.
sure.
All right, so day 1 was the twists were announced. The first twist being the one that nobody gets to know, even though there are no twists that nobody gets to know. What do you think it is?
I don't know. I have ideas, and I don't want to say anything and influence the game, but it comes down to differences I've noticed between our season and other types of seasons that I think So I'm just trying to notice the differences and kind of put them in compare and contrast still. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll have to talk offline because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Well, I mean,
anything about that.
one that's very public is how Andrew bangs his hand on the desk every time at the end of the video because he keeps messing up his outro. I think there's something there. Like how he's so used to 4 seasons of doing it the same way, and then why does he have to do it suddenly this way? That's what I'm working off of. But I know nothing except that it was a little bit of a weird red flag in my head. But
That's at the end of the videos.
yeah, like when he says
Uh,
instead of we eavesdrop on the Houseguest, it's something else every time.
okay. So that speaks to my laziness. I never watch right to the very end of the videos. So everyone who's watching probably knows that they should, but just in case they don't, watch
Take
the whole
your
video.
notes. Yeah, take those notes because I've already noticed a few things where I'm watching and I'm like, oh, I should, because I filled up a book of notes and I'm like, I'm not playing. Screw this. I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't take notes on anything like we did with details last year. Like I did happen to notice that Andrew's wearing the same shirt every day this year, except for once so far. So that is definitely different from our season. But like those small details I haven't taken notes on.
Well, he was wearing the Dwight Schrute like yellow shirt every time he wasn't wearing a hoodie or a different colored shirt, and that was used in a competition. So I think whether it's twist related or future competition related, I can't suss it out. So I just take note and play along with my own ideas about what it could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am excited about Redempble Temple. I love the idea of a battle back. I love the idea of you can't um you can't just vote them out and cut them off and it's done, and like it keeps you on edge. And I was expecting that in our season. Then he said like kind of right off the hop, oh yeah, no, like no one's coming back, just the fast forward and just the special powers and stuff. I was like, oh okay, so just don't get evicted and you'll be fine.
Yeah, because I suppose it does add that extra bit of like you can't attack the same way when you're voting someone out. Because they may be back in, right?
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see who keeps lasting. Like it's exciting to see who leaves every week, but then like that little duel that's happening and who might get back in the house, and the person who gets out on week 4, I think, because it has a 50-50 chance of coming right back in. So like that week is going to be a lot of pressure on the Houseguest to be like, it could just be a revolving door, like you come right back in. Yeah, I'm excited. They're in for it this season. It's a lot of personality in that house.
Andrew has set up a good torture chamber, that's for sure. The Veto Wheel. Okay, I have to admit that last season and this season, it's like a little spark of joy every week to see Andrew spin that wheel because he gets his so favorite excited. Toy. So what do you think of the different vetoes?
Amethyst, I think we've seen
most of them now.
Yeah, the Amethyst one is very cool. Like the power to use, and all the way up to top 6 though, I think that's very, very powerful. And it's like, do you just like how do you keep that in the game without it being scary? Or like I guess you just always got to be on the right side of these veto owners in their, like you got to be on the right side of their good graces so that they don't use it against you. But like even on season 4, I mean I'll reference season 4 because I lived it and I don't know the other seasons as well. But just even like Brenda with that ruby, she won it week 1. She carried it all the way up till top 8 when she got evicted, and like it was part of her demise too. So it's almost like if I didn't want to play early rounds of prank or no prank because I didn't want the poo brown veto, of course. And I also felt very okay with what I had built week after week after week, that I was like, I don't want a target on my back for having a cool power. It just makes me look even more scary. So these vetoes are kind of
this week or this season though, if you were playing, or do you think that you would feel the same way?
Because there's the powers are getting given out to a veto winner, and I already want to win every veto I'm playing in. Yeah, I would go for these powers, but because it was like a choice of whether you go for it or not, and if it would pay off or not. It was a lot more chaotic in our season, and I choose not. I tend to not love the chaos if I'm feeling okay. But yeah, these vetoes are cool. I mean, a lot of ones we've seen before, but like Emerald didn't get used, Ruby didn't get used, Diamond didn't get used. None of these got used last season.
Did we?
Oh no, Emerald. Wait, what was Brandon's?
Oh, I don't remember
Sapphire.
now, but it was only CJ that used one, wasn't it?
CJ randomized it, and then I don't think Brandon was able to use
I don't think so.
his. I forget.
And then
But
I
there were
remember,
a lot of cool things that didn't get used. So I'm hoping because these are just given out, there's no risk. It's just win the veto,
yeah.
get the cool secondary prize. I'm excited to see like just a lot more things thrown into the game. So
I remember my big frustration was the week that Lynn went out. She had won. It was like I think she had won like a fast forward, was it? And
yeah.
I sent her a message like 10 minutes before the timeline was up. And I was like, use your power this week. And she sends me a message back like just before. She's like, no, I think I'll save it. And I was just like, and you are out.
Oh, I really liked Lynn in the game, but we had a good personal connection, but she was kind of on the other side with her votes and that. So I was just kind of like hoping she wouldn't, because then it's just more of a chance that any one of us could have gone home, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
then
all
it's
these
just
extra cool powers are super exciting to me as someone who
so
loves
it's
this
just
game.
the all-star dollars now,
Yeah.
which apparently have a really bad stigma about them. So maybe you can speak to that.
Is my understanding that you win competitions at like Rebel Temple, the Veto, or the HOH, you get some bucks, and I think aren't they only used in one competition in the future, or is it
You can spend them in 5 of the veto competition.
yeah. So there's five
Yeah.
vetoes where you can buy yourself an advantage. If it's getting down to it, someone has a bunch of veto bucks. That's just another thing in their pocket that you don't have.
Yeah.
You think of it like they already won that veto competition. If they can buy an advantage over you and you can't, like it's adding a lot of forced powers into people's pockets that they maybe aren't even asking for.
Yeah. I thought it
It's
was really cool though.
oh yeah,
I
no,
would have
super
liked to
cool.
have played with those.
Hmm.
Speaking as someone who didn't win a lot of competitions, I still think that it would have been really fun to have those.
You want a good amount. You want a good amount. But I think of it kind of like the Monopoly pieces. Like you get the Monopoly pieces week after week, and you're like, okay, those kind of like built up and worked against Curtis, or they work against the person who has a lot of them, because it's basically when this competition drops, which we can kind of predict when it might, they're just probably going to win the veto because it's luck and the properties pay
Yeah.
off, right? So having all these secondary equipments, I guess you can call them, in the game is definitely going to open people's eyes about you in a different way than they may not have been thinking. So,
Yeah, that's true.
but I'm happy it's
So
there, and I'm happy I don't have to worry about that.
it's a lot easier being on this side of it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Last thing that I have written down for week 1 was just the HOH game was winner's choice. Brazil got to choose between Curtis, Dylan, Chantal, and Jonathan.
Mhm.
I know we talked about it a little bit with Jeffrey, but I kind of tended to agree with Andrew that if you're going to have a winner's choice competition, which he did not want to drop, I think it made sense to have it earlier on. But
Yeah,
I also see Jeffrey's point that he felt as if he didn't get a chance to really compete. So
yeah. I mean, he said that he had it planned for All Stars. He already knew that it was going to be this way since I think even before season 4. So he didn't know the winner. He left it up to
mhm.
some degree of randomness. We all know that it's going to happen at once in the season. It's up to production to choose when it happens. So it's like, yeah, it might not have worked out for you, but I think it was relatively fair. And at the same time, knowing there's a winner's choice coming and knowing there's a winner in the game from the previous season, start talking to that person ASAP. Like, i.e.
Yeah,
Brazil. Like that, like just at least for that one angle of the game, that would be something you should probably do right away. Not to
yeah. I
say
mean
that
that makes
Jeffrey or
sense to
anyone
me.
didn't. I'm just saying like that all the house guests had, I think, the knowledge they needed to navigate that
As a
as something
hurdle.
that was bound to happen, right? So
Yeah. The only critique that I have, Andrew, he's not going to like this, is see, I would have still allowed Brazil in as a random choice. Because I think that it's a little bit unfair that just because she's the winner's pick, she got no opportunity whatsoever to win. So it's not that she
oh,
would have necessarily been picked, but if she could have been chosen as a random choice, then it still allowed that ability that like she could compete in the competition.
as one of the
Um,
four names randomly drawn.
yeah. So, I mean, I understand why he chose not to, but I actually think it would have been more fair to have her as a person who could be randomly chosen.
I agree with you, specifically because it's not like Brazil got like safety or immunity because she was the one picking. She could have easily picked someone. They backdoored her, or someone used the power, or like Brazil wasn't safe this round, so she should have been eligible. But I mean, it's part of it. She did have, like, by picking the one of the four, though, she did have a lot of power that way as well. So
yeah, that's why I understand why he did it. I just I still thought that it would have been fair to add her in as a potential for the randomly chosen. But I mean, even if she was randomly chosen, she may have decided to forgo that power in order
100%.
to gain an alliance, right? So there's a lot of ways it could still go.
Yeah, because like whoever wins now, you can't play next week, right? So like there's a lot of factors that play there.
So I decided day 2 wasn't interesting. I don't know if you have any comments.
No, hated it. No, I'm just kidding. No, like, I think day two was just the was it the picking of the random names for her? Or like, it was, I don't know, it wasn't, or was that when we announced that Curtis was the HOH?
Oh, maybe it was. Okay, so
Either
Curtis
way,
is HOH.
Okay. Yeah, it's he made it pretty clear what he wanted to happen, and it happened. So I would say that's a successful week for his game.
Oh, I think you're right. I think that was when they read out Andrew read out all of the pleas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know. I didn't really have any comment on the pleas. They were all, fairly
short and sweet, and no one was like pandering too hard. But I think you don't want to look like you desperately need it right away. You really want it from Brazil, and also people don't probably actually even want it, like first HOH or early HOHs. So I think her reasons were great. Curtis is already not afraid or not shy to the role of being first HOH. So
yeah. Okay. So day 3, there were a couple comments about us. And 2 that I wanted to address specifically. One is just sorry to whoever it is that we pissed off. We use public information. I certainly didn't mean to put you into a box, so would love to know who that is to actually apologize when you come on in the future, if you come on. And my other one was just to Chad. Apparently I got the seasons wrong, and he was on season 3 and I said season 2. I was really nervous last week doing this for the first time, so I was trying to flip between my notes, and it's very possible that I just looked at the wrong season, or like was being dyslexic and couldn't read numbers.
As far as I'm concerned, or I think I feel like Chad's been on every season of Big Brother Cheesecake. I just assume so.
Well,
because he's talked about on every single one of these seasons, I believe. So
yeah, and he talks in the public forum and picks fights with people in the forum. So
he's a big fan of the franchise, that's for sure.
And that was when the Amethyst Veto was chosen. And there was that vote on whether or not we got to know what it was. We now do know what it is. So
what would you have voted had it come to a tie? Because I have my ideas. Remember, we would have been the ones deciding.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm selfish, I probably would have wanted it to be public. Because I'd want to know what selfish? It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think of the player, and I'm like, I would just want that little extra bit of chaos in there, because it could just, someone could use it as a huge bargaining chip on their side. But again, it would make them be even more threatening. So I think there would have been a lot of people throwing Total Recall if it was private, because you don't want. Yeah, I don't know.
So you would have preferred private?
I would have probably voted private, just because it seemed like all the other ones were public. So why not have a private one?
So we still would have been a tie.
Yeah, well, we would have. I would have probably. We would have come to a coin. Decision. Yeah, we'd flip a coin.
And I don't have anything else on day 3. I guess it was well, Andrew said it's been difficult for him to do both, so he didn't have a ton of information.
Yeah. As someone watching these videos every day, though, like just like last season, I most of them were like 19 minutes last year, or last season, like really long videos. And I scroll back to season 2 or 3 to rewatch, just trying to get an idea of the show. And they're like 8 minutes, 6:53, 11 minutes is like a long one. I'm like, where are those short videos? Because that's, as a note taker, I'm taking notes the whole time, and it's just so much more. So the videos have been on the medium length this time. So I hope they kind of stay like that.
I like the length. I think we were just so fabulously interesting that Andrew loved talking about us.
Yeah.
Day 4, Chad and Ryan have a beef about anti-vax wasn't Chad and Ryan.
Charlene and Ryan.
Yeah, but Chad and Ryan, what did they argue about?
I don't remember.
Oh, because Charlene was anti-vax, then Ryan said that maybe he like Chad isn't wrong about everything. That's what that was. So there, I don't know. To me, that was just kind of shows they're both outspoken, opinionated people.
I feel like at some point, everyone on this season is going to be outspoken and opinionated, and they'll just wait for their moments.
Yeah,
I just want to see. I want to keep seeing big moves. I want to keep seeing big targets, and I want to see blindsides. That's a big thing.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then there was, talk about what a trash panda is and about St. Michael's. The Amethyst Veto was made public, and the nomination ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happened in the nomination ceremony? Jeffrey was, we talked about this with Jeffrey, that he was picked because he's a comp beast, and Rhonda was not the target.
Right. Valid noms, valid delivery. Everything was above board there. I did think that the veto pick was I forget who was picked. Obviously, Curtis, Jeffrey, Ryan got picked by Rhonda, and who else was picked? A10.
Yeah.
And
now remember though that Ryan was picked by Rhonda because he was the first person to speak to her.
Mm-hmm. And
so it's Joanne, Ethan, Ryan, Rhonda, Jeffrey, and Curtis played in the veto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that competition was good. I'm glad it went way better than it did on our season, because that one that was a little chaotic. And
hey, it went great on our season.
Yeah, you
that
did
was
well.
my first comp win.
I know, it was good. That was where the "F off Nick" quote came from. Remember when I was like trying to just keep everyone happy and calm about it? But yeah, tensions were high. What?
Who was it that said that to you?
It was Brenda.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So I'm just glad that the competition went smoother. He kept it in the time frame he wanted to. There were no video technological mix-ups, and like Andrew was saying, the answers were really close. Each round, it was the farthest from the correct answer was eliminated, and there were no duds basically the whole competition. So I hope that keeps up, and they prove why they're all-stars. So
yeah, which is impressive, because I mean that isn't an easy competition. Like, you have to be really focused when you're playing. So
he said we couldn't take notes. I wonder if they were allowed to take notes this time, or if they just did anyways. But I don't know. They did well. If they all did well, it must have been maybe an easier video. I don't know. But
I didn't even remember that we weren't allowed to take notes. All I remember is that I was at my parents' house at the time, and my dad and my boyfriend kept talking to me while the thing was on. And I was just like, oh, for fuck's sakes, guys. And I'm like watching the video, running up the stairs, slamming the door behind me.
Well, maybe it helped you stay focused because you ended up winning in the end.
Yeah, there were things to remember, like this thing happened as I was running up the stairs. During this episode, Andrew also comments that every game is his favorite comp. So
of course, every time.
I don't know what that means, Andrew.
And that this is so exciting.
And he also reminds us that there are quiet people in the house, but they are still in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And he commented on that later again, that I had said that I was going to call people out. I told him that I was going to call people out before he had said that. But now that he started calling out names, there's really no need. Unless you have people you want to call out.
I think he'll keep doing it, and then he'll hopefully do a whole episode of Megan's again. Remember, at the opening credits, and it was just Megan. He likes
Yeah.
poking fun at them.
And that's another thing for the nomination ceremony. Curtis had commented on the fact that Rhonda wasn't a target and that he hopes he can like rebuild his relationship. And Andrew had commented on the fact that that he did that with Megan too, and then just nominated her again. And given that she's a good friend of mine, I can't let that go without comment.
True.
Because he definitely did not make an effort. As soon as he had another opportunity, Megan was up on the block. So good luck, Rhonda.
I think I don't know if Curtis is being way more direct and open with his targets and his speeches and that. Maybe he's playing a different way this season. I don't know. That's why I'm so excited for the people we've played seasons with, the people I know in real life from different seasons, and people I'm just getting into. But I like the way Jeffrey was speaking. If he was up all night talking to people, like that means that other people were up all night talking to him. So like it seems like
that's true.
Everyone's in the game.
Yeah.
Hard at this,
and in Curtis's defense too, Megan had no interest in working with him, and I was really pushing them together. So, so no hard feelings, Curtis.
Yeah. So yeah, then
Okay.
Ryan wins the veto. Ryan uses the veto, citing his promise that he had made to Rhonda to use it. So I mean, hey, if he promised and he made good on it, that's a good move.
Yeah. So I think that happened. Was that day 5 that he won?
You would be,
or that it was announced that he won?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'd imagine.
losing track now. Okay. So on day 5, Andrew talks about his own work history and his Survivor stuff that's going on. He gives his opinions on the noms, which we've already kind of covered, so we don't need to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then he talks about the season chats.
Oh yeah. Which didn't make some people happy, I believe. But I mean, you know what game you're playing. I'm sure Andrew did this to all seasons where he gets super excited, says some stuff maybe he shouldn't, or he doesn't really realize he shouldn't in the moment and just gets excited from it. We all know that he's in the game too, and it's going to be fun. So just
he's
enjoy
the 17th player. And the other thing is, I mean, we all know too that we had tons of chats that we kept Andrew out of. They could have their own season chat that they are speaking like without Andrew being present. So who knows what's really going on, right?
This could all be game, because if they're all-stars, they know what playing in Andrew's game is like, and they could be saying something in one chat where he is privy to, and then completely different in another chat. So you can't take everything at face value, I would think, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. And then we get to day 6 where he then apologizes for saying too much. And I'm just quickly checking to see. So then he talks about the veto comp. So we've covered most of that, I think. Sounds like it was really close. Eitan, Jeffrey, and Ryan were the last 3 in. And Chad was really respectful. But I think we already covered that too with
I mean, I hope that keeps up. As someone who doesn't know him, it's just a lot nicer to watch videos or hear Andrew talking about people being nice to each other or being at least civil than ways in the past. So I hope that keeps up.
Yeah, I mean, I like it when people debate. I don't really like it when people fight. Present your arguments, be on opposite sides of things, but don't get messy about it.
Yeah, I agree. So what did you think about what did you think about Dylan being the replacement nominee?
I don't know that I've got any feelings on it yet. I don't know what game Dylan's playing. I mean, I get what Curtis's point was. He had his target and he wanted to make sure that it was someone that that wouldn't be evicted. And I'm guessing he also didn't want it to be someone that he's been really close to. And if Dylan hasn't been able to participate too much, then that was probably a good middle ground for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's from being on the outside, that's about the only thing I can come up with.
Yeah.
What about you?
Maybe they have a decent relationship, and it was discussed that it would be okay because maybe even Dylan felt confident, or I don't know. I have no idea either. So I I was excited to see who the replacement would be, but I didn't predict one way or the other. So I think no matter
Yeah.
who Curtis put up, it would probably be for the exact same reasons that he said.
Yeah, and I mean, I maybe I'm just not following things well, but I have no idea who's working with who at this point. So,
I can have
um,
my assumptions, but I mean, it's anything.
yeah. Okay, so day 7, things start to get interesting. There's a rat in the house. Who do we think the rat is?
Like, if there's a rat in the house, why does Andrew know about it? And if Andrew knows about it, I feel like there's strategy in telling Andrew that. Like
Mm,
if you don't want Andrew saying something on the videos, you wouldn't tell him the thing. So if he found out some way, I think it's because probably they want it discussed and maybe to make someone scared or to call them out. We know what you're doing without actually saying it, so we're not enemies yet. I don't know. I have no idea
and
who
I
it could
mean,
be or what it could mean.
this is a really stupid question. When people say there's a rat in the house, they mean someone who's like being deceptive.
Yeah, I
Is
think
that
someone who's like leaking information and maybe being sneaky in their agenda.
okay? Just making sure I was on the right page there.
But I think it was in reference to the vote and how the vote was going down because this was post veto ceremony, I believe. So it would be probably about someone saying they're voting away and doing it differently, or trying to change the vote, or put words in people's mouths. I don't know, but I'm sure it will come out in the coming days or weeks,
Yeah.
whether from Andrew's
Okay.
mouth or from other people's mouths.
For sure. So then day 8. So we've had the veto ceremony, and then I don't know what happened on day 8.
It would have been
Do you-
like final pleas, I believe, because then today, day 9, is the eviction.
That sounds right. Yeah. Any comment on the pleas? I don't remember them now. I don't know. Maybe I didn't watch day 8.
I mean, I watched them. I think I watched 8 and 9 this morning, but I just remember them being respectful and just be like, "Keep me in the game. I want to stay." Like they were very pleasant. I forget exactly what Dylan said, but I think it was him talking about how he hasn't really had a chance to play yet, and he wants to stay and actually play All Stars. But I mean, school's got to be done soon. It's already December 9th, so hopefully, if he survives this week, he can start building those relationships, but maybe it'll be too late. I don't know. I think if people already
Yeah.
voted. He already had 3 people vote to evict him, so he's got some people to win back, but I don't know if that's necessarily an anti-Dylan thing or just a pro-Jeffrey thing in that vote, right?
Yeah. Um, and then for day 9, other than HOH, the trivia competition,
Yeah.
everything else we've talked about.
Yeah, it's just how the eviction went.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Chanel for winning. I don't know
Yes.
Chanel personally. I don't know how she will play her game. I know she was part of an underdog alliance in her season, I believe. So I don't think she'll be scared to just make the moves of the people that she feels threatened by. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
we get to hear some like the nomination speech and just how this week goes is going to be really exciting.
Agreed. Yeah. Um, I like the way that Chanel plays, based on what I've seen, and I believe she was a person who's kind of a self-named gamer, right? So
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I think she would make big moves if the time is right to make big moves, and if it's not, she'll know how to kind of navigate that water. So
Well, and also seeing that a winner just got evicted and now a winner is in power, will she feel threatened because okay, some people or at least one is targeting winner, whether that means winners or not? I don't know. Like it'll be. I think they're
yeah,
all gonna suss out what needs to happen, and she'll have a good week. I'm hoping.
yeah. And that brings us to the end of the week.
I know, and I'm excited. I want to do this again with the next person, and I hope that everyone who keeps getting evicted keeps wanting to come on and talk to us. I know
I hope so.
last year there was a few gaps with that where that didn't happen, but if you want to talk to us, please do. And
And
yeah,
if
because
you're
they're still in the
particularly
game.
saucy about being evicted, this is a great place to come on and like sell
Tell
people
us.
out.
Throw people under the
Tell
bus
all.
because even if you come back, it's not like they're gonna think that you're not going after them at this point. Like they already have their enemies. It's just a second chance, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you
All right,
for
well,
tuning in, everyone. Tune in next week when we probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday again. It depends on when the evictee can do it, when either of us can do it. But we're going to talk to the next evictee, talk about the week, recap everything, and make sure you like and follow and subscribe, and you can keep up to date with this season, which is I think it's going to be awesome.
yep. Have a good night, everyone.